Florence Villamino. Hello, Florence.
Good morning.
So starting off with, we're going to start off here in Paris because the Prime Minister, the new French Prime Minister, has got a very busy day ahead of him. He's meeting with the trade unions.
Absolutely. It's a big meeting for Jean-Marc Ayrault. And here on the cover of Le Figaro, the right-leaning newspaper, Jean-Marc Ayrault, confronté aux revendications des syndicats, so he's facing trade union demands. Now he's scheduled to meet with representatives not only of worker unions but also business leader trade unions. And according to the government, this day is called a new and improved social dialogue. So there are 8 big unions. Each one is going to meet with the Prime Minister for an hour, and all this is to organize a bigger meeting that's going to take place later in the summer, mid-July. And on the agenda are discussions of retirement, pensions, wages, minimum wage, and it's also on the cover of 20 Minutes, which says that regardless of what the topic is going to be, it's likely to be choppy for the Prime Minister. And Le Parisien likens it to a big oral exam, actually, for Jean-Marc Ayrault. It's a first big meeting. It's his first kind of time in the spotlight with the unions. And in their Zoom, they say that they have an article where they say that all this is happening in a context of concern and worry because a lot of big industries actually waited until after the presidential election to have a big layoff schemes. They were waiting for until after the elections to see this come through. And according to Le Parisien, a lot of big industries, including Peugeot and Goodyear, were waiting until after the elections to put on these big layoff schemes. And so the government is facing a lot of massive layoffs. And of course, the Prime Minister is going to be in the spotlight.
So the parliamentary elections, they're just 3 weeks away now, and a lot of the papers today then looking at the strategies the various parties taking part have.
Absolutely. We're going to start by looking at Libération, so the left-leaning newspaper, which is putting the spotlight on the right, the UMP, and it says that ahead of these legislative elections, the right is disoriented. And the question is whether UMP candidates are going to defend Nicolas Sarkozy and his legacy. Now, according to Libération, a lot of candidates actually don't want to defend Nicolas Sarkozy because, according to the left-leaning newspaper, it's a sentiment of anti-Sarkozy feelings that led to François Hollande being elected in the first place. And inside Libération, they point out that all this is taking place as well with a kind of a war of the leaders within the right newspaper, party, excuse me, because there's two head people. You have Jean-François Copé, the party leader, and the former Prime Minister François Fillon, who are kind of battling to lead the UMP party. So the party is in disarray, and according to Libération, the left is hoping to bank on this in the legislative elections. And but the fact that Sarkozy has kind of withdrawn himself from the spotlight could help the right, according to Libération, because the left can't use Sarkozy, you can't beat on him as much and use this to their advantage.
We're going to stay with Libération because there's a pretty funny article in there describing what's a typical candidate is.
Absolutely, it's a mugshot actually, and this is a really funny article, and I recommend you reading it. And it says that, according to Libération, they carefully analyzed the 6,611 candidates, and they pointed out that the average candidate is 49 years old, male, retired, and excuse me, and called Philippe Martin, because Martin is the most common surname. 25 candidates are called Martin, and Philippe is the most common name. And in fact, there are 2 candidates that are really called Philippe Martin. So if your name is Philippe Martin, you're 49 years old, and male, you are just right there in the midst of the candidates.
You're the typical candidate. All right, now quickly a look at La Croix.
La Croix, yes, exactly. Now they're focusing on what they're calling the power crisis in the Vatican, and there you see a very sinister photo of a Swiss guard at the Vatican. Now, it's the biggest scandal to rock the Vatican, according to La Croix. So, quick reminder, yesterday, the Pope's butler was arrested for allegedly having confidential documents in his home. La Croix says that this has brought to light a big problem within the leadership of the Vatican, and they go into a lot of detail.
I'm sure we'll be hearing plenty more about it. Thank you very much, Florence. You're watching Live from Paris. Coming up after the break, Focus, and today we head to Ukraine.